off with find out who the best is and do more. That's pillar number 1. But let's go into pillars 1 through 5 for everybody.
So there's two kind of the book is two things, right? There's, man, how you deal with the gray, which is thing too, right? Like, man, we got to laugh our asses off along the way. The gray hates laughter. And by the way, I've just started to let people know this, but I've had an anxiety or panic attack before every show I've done to 2005 going into it. So if you watch me on Fox, and no, I've never said this before, just tell anybody. If you watch me on every Fox NFL Sunday, and I almost got in this habit. It started in 2005. I was in a stadium on my stadium, and I was doing a hit for Fox NFL Sunday. Got no idea why it happened, but I started going like this. I started feeling, I was sweating. I felt like I was about to die. And it's now happened every time, including when we did Ballers. And I don't know if you ever noticed me over there doing a bunch of stuff, but it's before the first segment all the time. The way I get out of it is by trying to get you or somebody else to laugh.
Yeah.
But I wrestle with my abuser. Like, I'm sitting there, and even my guys at Fox don't know this because I didn't want them, I don't want to bring them down. Like, this is their too. I don't want to bring them down. So I got to deal with it myself. So, man, I'll breathe, I'll try and meditate, but I'll always laugh. So the gray hates laughter. That's part of the book is how you deal with it. And this is the first time I'm revealing this, dude. Every single show, until I wrote it, and Lane Johnson, who said, hey, if you journal, it's helped me a lot. And I realized, oh my God, once I wrote this down, I stopped having anxiety. Rare. So from 2005 till this year, every single show, commercial show, Ballers, Fox, MMA, didn't matter. I'm wrestling with my abuser for the first 5 or 10 minutes. And I'm not afraid to be on TV. I fucking love it. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable on TV. I'm great in chaos. I don't know why it happened.
Well, let me ask you this. When it comes to anxiety and, and panic attacks and things like that, we've all been there. You and I have talked about ours in the past and recently too as well. But, for something like that, because the gray does hate laughter. And if you don't have your boys around you or your girls or whoever it is that you can bounce a joke off of and fucking start to laugh so you can break this little cycle that you're going through right now, what do you do then for people who are watching now?
I have some breathing that I do. I'll do deep breathing. I'll convince myself, but I wrestle. I'm like, I'm not going to let it win. Like, that's the whole thing too, man. I will not let the gray win. That is it. I made the decision. And I will just keep going. But sometimes as I'm on TV, I'm talking to the roommates in my head, trying to get them to play nicely to each other. And I'm just hoping that I get this shit right as I'm coming. But that's why you'll see me on TV with a big smile, laughing this. But the real, oh man, I get choked up talking about it. The real truth is, man, yeah, I'm wrestling with this abuser, trying not to let anybody else see it because I don't want to put that shit on them. And I kind of get choked up because I'm like, man, sometimes I just want to give this dude a hug. Like, man, you don't deserve this. You're okay, But ever since I wrote it, I haven't had one, which is just incredible. I still got to get back to your 5 pillars here.
No, all right, we'll get back there. But I think that's a big thing for people to know, man. Every time they see you on TV, that is what you are going through and wrestling with, in your head. Because, the truth is, man, there is so much suffering in silence with people around the world where they just feel so fucking uncomfortable about talking about any kind of panic attack, disorder, anxiety, depression, the gray. So you sharing what you just shared, which is it's a pretty big deal for you to open up that way, man. I think it's really, really going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I want people to know they're not alone. Yeah, it happens to me up there. And again, for me, I'm great in chaos, dude. Great in chaos. I'm not good in. So a lot of times I'll create chaos because that's unfortunate because my friends have to take the brunt of that or people of society. But man, that's the thing that confuses me. So I'm great in chaos and I love being on camera, but then it happens. So my point to everybody else out there is this thing plays by its own set of rules. It sits down at your whenever it damn well pleases. And that's okay. Like, it's okay. Nothing's wrong with you because that happens. We just got to always fight back.
That's it. That's it. Well, listen, speaking of fighting back, we have, let me go through these pillars for everybody. So find out who the best is and do more than them, which I think is great. These are your 5 pillars of an unbreakable mindset in here.
Business and for training, for all our players. We've trained over 1,000 NFL players in this MMA system that we started. But go ahead, shoot it, big boy.
All right. Find out who the best is and do more than them. Fuck yeah. Be relentless. Fuck yes. Push your breaking point. Push your breaking point. Push your breaking point. I love this one. I love all of these, but I love this one in particular because I always feel like, and you and I have talked about this every time we train together, and every time we're trying to overcome any other kind of challenges, is you push yourself past that breaking point of being so fucking uncomfortable, of feeling like you can't go on, you can't push yourself more, but you do. But on the other end and the other side of that breaking point, like that's where the success is, right?
And then you look back. So I'll tackle these 3 real quick. We push our breaking point, push our breaking point. So you look back and you say to yourself, damn, I can't believe 2 weeks ago that used to be hard. I can't believe a month ago I was down here. So now you push yourself up here and you see how much more you're capable of. That's where we push our breaking points. And especially when we're training our fighters or football players, I want them to understand it. Like our football players, man, we'll put them through 3 or 5 minute rounds with a 1 minute break. And I'm like, dude, if you could do 5 minute rounds here with a 1 minute break, you damn sure could do a 7-second round with a 1 minute break on the football field. So just remember that, right? And the relentlessness. Like, man, we are, like, if I am, and this word's opposite of the world, where I want us to show and say anything, athletically, or business-wise, you will fucking never know when I'm hurt. You will never know when I'm tired. And it's like, you'll see, like, me and Randy Couture and Chuck Liddell in our gym, and we're training these guys, and we are just relentless, nonstop. Until somebody goes, holy fuck, get them off of me. Like, I didn't sign up for shit, right? And I also, like, our fighters can't take a stool in between rounds. I want them walking back and forth, and having somebody go, why the hell is Randy Couture not sitting down? What is going on over here? And we give a lot of, examples in the book of this also. And then find out who the best is and do more than them. If you all want your dreams to come true, follow what Dwayne does and say, I'm going to do more than that. I've told 1 million football players, same thing. Find out who the best is and do more than them. Tom Brady, find out what Tom does and do more than him. And I can't tell you how many guys say to me, I can't do that. That's too much. Well, if you want your dreams come true, that's it. Like, the secret to success, it's not really a secret. It's outwork the world.
That's right. That's right. It's outwork the fucking world. Be the hardest workers in the room. Approach it like your back is up against the wall. I call it the backs up against the wall philosophy. And when you operate with your back up against the wall, you got one fucking place to go, and that is forward, and that's ahead. You have another one here, neutral face. You and I have talked about this in the past. Don't ever show you're hurt. Make sure you have that neutral face on. But not only in the gym. Go ahead.
I'll tell our football players, our fighters, again, if you're hurt or tired, don't ever show it. And you can't control yourself here. It's like, man, like, when you're a little kid and you're playing tag with your friend, your brother, son, and all of a sudden you're exhausted, you're laying down, and they come over and they twang you, and all of a sudden you jump up and run after them. You forget you're tired, right? So if you could sit there and not show it, and you start to see somebody else start to break athletically, man, it's like a branch. Now you can hear it, you can feel it, and all of a sudden you forget you're tired. That's when you start sharpening your weapons, and that's the same as in business too, right? Man, if someone's hurting you in business, don't show it. Just keep going, because a lot of times people are going to go, man, we didn't sign up for this. Yeah. We signed up. We didn't sign up. We signed up to play a game, not to fight.
I love that one. I remember when you were a little tired on the set of Ballers, I came over and slapped the dog shit out of you, and that kind of woke you up. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. I totally remember that one. Yeah.
All right. The last one, which I really love, and it might be my favorite one, or the combination actually, is it's our honor to fight hurt. And what I love about this is we have seen so many athletes, professional athletes, amateur athletes, over the years and decades who fight through pain, become injured in the ring, in the octagon, on the court, on the field, fight through it, and they go out on their fucking shield, men and women. And I love that because it truly is. And I'll give you one example, and I told you this in the past. It was my very last WrestleMania match, a giant stadium there in New York. WWE Championship was a phenomenal match. We had 45 minutes in that match, myself and John Cena, 45 minutes total to go. At about the 15, 16-minute mark, I think I got suplexed. I can't remember what it was, and I felt a big pop. Boom, and it went, and I didn't know what the pop was, but it was kind of down here in my front hip area. Not in my groin, but a little higher on my hip bone. And I'm laying there in the middle of a giant stadium, and I'm looking up. There's 80,000 people, and I'm like, man, I try to, as best I subtly, as subtle as I can, stick my hand in my trunks and feel around. I was hoping that I didn't feel a bone pop out or anything like that. I didn't. And I'm like, man, there's something really wrong here. Something just happened. When I got up, I realized I didn't have any push or spring off this right leg. And now I asked the referee how much time we have left. He said, well, we have about 20, 30 minutes left of this match. Do you need me to secretly call the match and say you're hurt? I said, no, let's get going. Let's keep going, rather. And plus, also, you're in the moment, right? You're feeling the adrenaline. I don't want to let 80,000 people down. I don't want to let John Cena down or anyone involved here. It's WrestleMania. It's the big Super Bowl of pro wrestling. 20, 30 minutes later, at the end of the match, John Cena hits me with his other finish, which is almost like a big over-the-head suplex. And I feel a big pop. Boom. Even bigger. Winds up. I went home to Miami at that time. I went to get my MRI. I came out of the MRI. The doctor came to me. And he said, I don't know how you actually walked in here. I said, what do you mean? He said, you have the top of your quad and your adductors torn off your pelvis.
Oh.
And I said, what? He goes, yeah, it's torn off your pelvis. But so anyway, long story short, I didn't have surgery. I had to tissue up. But the point of this was, in the moment, you make a decision to fight through the pain, fight through the hurt, to get to the other side of it. Am I happy I didn't call the match? I am, because there was a lot riding on it, and I had a responsibility and accountability to everyone else. But also, in that moment, I felt like I could go on. You know how it's all up here, right? In between your ears and in between the rib cage, as you like to say. So I love it's your honor to fight hurt.
And look at what it did for you. Here you are. You're the biggest star in the world, but look what makes you feel great, right? For the rest of your life, no one could ever take that from you. Like, you went out there and you're like, fucking no, I'm a gangster. Like, I did that with 2 things torn off the bone, which is insane that you're able to do. Again, us being fucked up with our fucked upness, that's fucked up. And it's something that you'll have as a badge of honor forever. And that's why I try and teach our guys all the time. And I use stories in the book from Tony Gonzalez and Rondé Barber and Tom Brady. Tom Brady played all of last year with a torn MCL. No one had any idea. Won the Super Bowl. So I think in today's day and age, everybody wants to be so perfect because of social media. They don't want to get hit. They don't want to have a meme. And I'm like, dude, it's your honor. You have, that first year we traded Lane Johnson, this whole neutral face, you're never going to see it. He had a high ankle sprain, torn MCL, and he herniated L4, L5 and never missed a game.
Wow.
And that's right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's how your dreams come true. Don't worry about, and I talk in the book about Couture was going to fight Brock Lesnar, and Randy actually popped a bursa sac in his elbow and couldn't lift going in the fight. And Randy is, 87 years old going into that. And Brock's a monster. And I was like, hey, dude, why don't we pull out of this one and kind of wait until you're healthy? And he just jumps my shit. He's like, pull out of it. Are you kidding me? Pull out of it. He said, could you imagine if I could beat him? I'm at 50%. Even if I just slam him and I'm at 50%. Think of what that does for me. I was like, whoa, okay, my bad. But that's it right there, right? Nothing is going to be perfect in our lives, ever. We've got to find it to be our honor to fight through that pain and fight through those limitations and just knowing ourselves let it lift us up from the inside out.
You know what I love about that, Jay, is the reason why I love that particular pillar, that it is an honor for us to fight, and it's an honor for us to work through those challenges. Is what I love about that philosophy is it's more than sport. It's more than athletics. It's something, I think, greater and deeper than that, which everyone can relate to on every level around the world, which is just having the mana and the fortitude in here to just fight through the pain. Now, it's not, hey, fight through the pain, get to the other end of it, and you get a gold medal. It's fight through the pain today. You'll be a little bit better tomorrow than you were today, right? You'll be a little bit more the next day than you were. And it's all comes from in here. So I really love that, again, because I think it's a reflection of something greater.
Inside out. Don't worry about the end result, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the win. Worry about the fight. Enjoy and embrace the fight.
That's right. That's right. Enjoy and embrace the fight.
Here, dude.
What's that?
I got a question for you. And I haven't asked you this yet. And when I did call you about writing the foreword for this book, and look, you're one of my best friends on the planet. I always like to do for my friends. I don't like to ask anything of my friends. As you know that. I'm always thinking, how can I kind of go about life like I'm going to be everybody's pallbearer, right? If that sounds a little morbid, but I'm going to be that loyal to everybody. Loyalty is a lost art, right? And so I don't ask for stuff. I'm always like, what can I do for them? What can I do for them? And if you can get 10% of your crew to treat you back the same way, that's a pretty good little mafia. So I was like, man, and I said something to you about it, and you're like, and I said, I know it sucks because if you do mine, then everybody's going to bitch you not doing theirs. And no hesitation. After you, damn right I'll do it. And yes, people will get upset with me for not doing theirs, but I'm doing yours. And not only am I doing yours, I'm jumping on board with you, and I'm helping you from.
The bill is in the mail, by the way.
That's all you need is more money.
But also, too, as you know, I told you when you left me that message, you're like, hey, man, I got to talk. And you and I got on the phone and we talked. You asked me, and I said, listen, brother, for decades, people have always asked me to write their forwards. I have always said no. For the most part, I've said no because it encourages other people. Well, if you wrote this forward for them, can you write it for me? And I've turned down pro athletes, the biggest business entrepreneurs in the world, still friends with all of them. But the reason why I decided to write your forward is because you know where I keep all the dead bodies. So you know those secrets. So that's why I had to do it. No, here's why I decided to write your forward is you and I have known each other for a very long time. And, you know, for a lot of people out there who don't know, Jay was actually in the game plan with me. Family movie we did many, many years ago. I think that was the first time we met, but you and I bonded, we become friends, we become brothers over training, over mental health, over everything. And I did feel like this book in particular, all the other books that have come out that I was asked to write the forward to, and they went on to be very successful books, are great books, very successful, and they've helped a lot of people. I did feel this one in particular was a unique one and a different one because of not only your journey, but also the vulnerability you show, but also when you talk about the gray, and it was important, you know, this is an important subject to talk about openly and encourage people to talk about their gray and to get that shit out. I, admittedly, for years, I'm an only child. I lived basically on the road. My dad, as many of you guys know, was a professional wrestler at a time when professional wrestling wasn't as globalized, but we were going from state to state to state, wrestling in different territories. So a lot of my life was in the backseat of a car, just driving around and living in different places. And being an only child growing up, I was used to keeping shit in and absorbing it and trying to figure it out on my own and never talking about it. And that can be very disruptive emotionally, as we all know. So I have learned over the years through experience to open up and talk about my shit and talk about the gray. So when you and I met and you and I talked about our own mental health challenges, and years later you put out this great book, I thought this is a great opportunity for me not only to support you, but then also to help illuminate and highlight